TomoNews presents Passport Fails.
Entitled Doctor's Wife Bashes Airport Staff with U.S. Passport. This video has gone viral in Taiwan after a prominent plastic surgeon's wife lost her cool with staff at Taoyuan International Airport. Du Wang, aged 62, is a prominent and well-renowned plastic surgeon in Taiwan. His wife generally stays out of the limelight, but this past week it was her turn to catch the nation's gaze. Dr. and Mrs. Wang were meant to fly out on an international flight, but Dr. Wang began feeling ill a few hours before the flight. Unable to cancel their tickets at the last minute, the couple decided to still try to make the flight. After checking and passing through security, Dr. Wang began throwing up while he and his wife waited in the VIP lounge. The two decided to forego the flight and contacted airport staff about canceling their tickets and reclaiming their luggage. Airport staff then provided a wheelchair for Dr. Wang and helped the couple exit the secure area of the airport. Unfortunately, after 30 minutes of walking, Mrs. Wang lost her patience and began yelling at security staff. She even whipped out her U.S. passport and waved it around, telling staff they better be careful or else she was going to have them all fired. Mrs. Wang demanded to know what the holdup was and why her and her husband were still being kept waiting. Staff attempted to explain that they were still removing the couple's luggage from the plane, but Mrs. Wang wasn't having any of it and started demanding if they knew who she was. Yeah, we know. You're the internet's newest darling. Enjoy!
Chinese man stuck in Korea after son scrawls on his passport. Every parent knows how much little kids like to draw. Child psychologists even say it's good for a child's development. Just look at what this 4-year-old kid did to a photo of his dad. Oh, it's so cute! The only trouble is the kid's little bit of art was in his dad's passport, and the dad was overseas at the time. Now this fantastic piece of passport art is the work of a 4-year-old Chinese boy surnamed Chen, who accompanied his father on a recent trip to South Korea. The father posted the pic to a social media site earlier this week. Reports said that the trip's organizers and authorities are looking into the matter to see if the man can return home as scheduled with the rest of the group, but the initial assessment was that his chances are slim to none. Thanks a lot there, little Picasso!
Grounded due to plastic surgery. 3 Chinese women reportedly weren't allowed to board their flight and got stuck in an airport in South Korea after getting massive plastic surgery done. The 3 Mulans looked like they just got out of a boxing match with swollen faces and lips and their heads wrapped in bandages. They were stopped by South Korean immigration officials. No, not for bad judgment, but for looking nothing like their passport photos. The picture of the 3 beasts was widely shared over knockoff Chinese social media platforms. It's become a thing over the past decade for insecure Chinese women to travel to South Korea to go under the knife so they can get transformed into ugly women who clearly look like they've gotten way too much work done. Chinese women in search of a new face visit South Korea using medical tourist visas. Almost 100,000 Chinese visited South Korea in 2016 to get things pumped up, sliced off, and reshaped. No word on what happened to the 3 women, but they're still in South Korea. Maybe they should think about some plastic surgery. Oh, wait. Meet Joseph Pwag, Kim Jong-un's 90s alter ego. North Korean megabelly Kim Jong-un and his dictator daddy-o Kim Jong-il reportedly traveled on Brazilian passports during the 1990s. Fats traversed the globe as one Joseph Pwag, while Il meandered the world as Lee Chong-choi. According to Reuters, the Brazilian passports were authentic, but the IDs, not so much. Apparently, Joseph and Lee Chong traveled all over in the 1990s from Hong Kong to Brazil. Word is they both took some time for R&R in Tokyo, too. Trouble with that is the land of the rising sun is an age-old enemy of the DPRK. It's unknown how the Kims obtained the documents, but Brazil's foreign ministry is on the case. Wonder if they ever swung by Manhattan, to catch all that awesome real estate.
Brit denied entry into Thailand after using her passport as toilet paper. An apparently well-traveled British national says she was denied entry into Thailand last month after making what's probably the dumbest passport-related mistake we've ever heard of. Faye Wilson had been attempting to make her way to the Southeast Asian nation from Australia, but was stopped by immigration officials who were curious as to why her passport was missing several pages. The embarrassed 28-year-old hairdresser was refused entry into the country after lying to Thai authorities, telling them she'd lost the pages. Why lie? Well, because her actual excuse would have no doubt appeared piss poor. Wilson says that during a drunken night out a few years back, she found herself lacking toilet paper. So she reached for the only paper she had at the time, that is, that attached to her passport. Ripping out 2 to 3 pages saved her from any undue embarrassment that night, but it caused some serious problems down the road. Thai immigration officials sent her packing back to the UK via Dubai, presumably at some serious expense. The 28-year-old eventually made her way back to Thailand to reunite with the friend she so abruptly left behind, but she no doubt learned one hell of a lesson.
New Zealand passport system unable to detect Asian man's eyes. 22-year-old aerospace engineering student and DJ Richard Lee was born in Taiwan but raised in New Zealand. He holds a valid New Zealand passport. Unfortunately, when it came time to renew his passport on December 6th, he had a wee bit of trouble with the government's online portal. Lee's passport photos looked fine by most human standards, but when he tried to upload them onto the New Zealand government website, they didn't take. The reason? The system could not detect his eyes. Lee attempted to submit the photos 2 more times, but again and again, the automated system responded with, "Subject's eyes are closed." When he contacted Internal Affairs to find out what the real reason was, he was told uneven lighting on the face caused his photo to be rejected. Okay? Well, finding humor in the failures of the system's facial recognition technology, Lee decided to have a little fun and used a Snapchat filter to add some absurdity to point out the website's gaffe. Think he made his point? After retaking his photos and making sure to keep his eyes wide open, his new shots were accepted. His passport finally renewed. Man, who knew online portals could discriminate so hard?
Man asked daughter to doodle on his passport to avoid fine. A man named Wang from Shanghai overstayed his visa in the US and asked his 6-year-old daughter to draw on his passport over the date of his overstayed visa. Perhaps it was because he'd heard of this other story where a man's 4-year-old son doodled on his dad's passport and got him stuck in Korea. Initially, Wang insisted that the passport, which now sported a collection of flowers, clouds, and a variety of fruit, was taken by his daughter and used as drawing paper unbeknownst to him. However, officials didn't believe him, and under pressure, Wang finally confessed that he'd asked his daughter to do him a favor and add all the decorations. Hopefully, his daughter still had fun.
South Korean plastic surgery is so good, you won't be able to pass immigration again. Wow, who's that sexy disembodied head belong to? Hey, get off my screen, lady, I was ogling some attractive chick. Wah, they're the same person. What witchcraft is this? But it's not witchcraft, it's South Korean plastic surgery, which the Daily Mail reports has caused problems for people trying to pass immigration in Chinese airports. Why, you ask? It's because that South Korean doctor can change your face, but he can't change your passport. Yeah, I wouldn't let her in either. In response, some clinics in South Korea are offering certificates describing their recent work. Whether they went in for double eyelids, pointier nose, shaved off jawbone, or face liposuction, they just don't look like their passport photos anymore. But don't forget, you can cut your face, but not your DNA.
Fake U.S. Embassy in Ghana stayed open for a decade. The U.S. State Department recently uncovered a criminal operation in Ghana that had been passing off a ramshackle building in the capital as America's official embassy. The sham embassy was housed in a battered pink building with a U.S. flag. With white people manning the inside and a photo of Obama on the wall, most assumed it was legit. In reality, the consular officers were Turkish and in cahoots with the Ghanaian crime rings. Instead of getting clients from nearby, they advertised via flyers and billboards to customers in remote parts of West Africa. Clients were shuttled to the city, booked at a nearby hotel, and taken to and from the fake embassy. Walk-ins were not accepted. For a fee of $6,000, applicants could be issued fraudulently obtained but legitimate U.S. visas, or any other false identification documents they needed. The scheme went on for a decade until folks from the real U.S. Embassy caught on, leading to the arrest of several suspects in a police raid. More than 100 passports, legitimate and counterfeit visas and documents were found in the investigation, along with the discovery of another fake embassy, this one Dutch.